Most revolutions announced themselves with explosions. This one began with a text box. On November 30th, 2022, an artificial intelligence research lab called OpenAI quietly released a prototype to the public. They called it ChatGPT. At first, many in the corporate world viewed it as a novelty. It wrote casual poetry, generated jokes, and helped students with homework. It looked like a toy, another Silicon Valley curiosity. But within weeks, the perception shifted. Millions of users stopped treating it like basic software and started treating it like a replacement. A replacement for traditional research. A replacement for information gathering. And for the first time in nearly 2 decades, Google's core business model faced a direct structural threat. Inside the executive offices of Google, the atmosphere shifted from standard corporate confidence to acute alarm. According to internal reports, Google CEO Sundar Pichai declared a code red, mobilizing multiple divisions to counter the threat. The engine was simple. Every question generated a search, and every search generated revenue. But ChatGPT introduced a dangerous alternative. The empire was no longer just competing, it was defending its foundation.
But the thing that's exciting to me is not that we can go build a better copy of Google search, but that maybe there's just some much better way to help people find and act and synthesize information.
While Google was scrambling to formulate a defense, its long-standing rival, Microsoft, was executing a multi-year market maneuver. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, recognized the shifting landscape early. Microsoft had already made calculated multi-billion-dollar investments in OpenAI in 2019 and 2021. In January 2023, Nadella capitalized on the moment. Microsoft finalized a staggering $10 billion expansion of the partnership, securing a vital cloud computing agreement. Virtually every query processed by OpenAI's advanced models would now run on Microsoft's Azure servers. Nadella didn't just invest capital, he integrated the AI directly into Microsoft's product suite.
They will definitely want to come out and show that they can dance, and I want people to know that we made them dance, and I think that'll be a great day.
It was an aggressive strategic maneuver. Microsoft forced Google to accelerate its deployment of generative AI tools. But as both giants rushed onto the field, they hit a hard reality. They were fighting over algorithms, but neither of them owned the specialized hardware supply chain required to run them at scale. The entire AI revolution was about to collide with a manufacturing bottleneck. In a historic gold rush, the businesses that secure the highest profit margins are rarely the miners looking for gold. They are the ones selling the shovels. In the AI gold rush, there was only one company selling the shovels. Generative AI is immensely asset-heavy. Training a frontier model requires tens of thousands of specialized processors, not standard computer CPUs, but specialized graphics processing units, or GPUs. And the overwhelming majority of the global supply for these advanced AI accelerators was controlled by just one company, Nvidia.
We have now arrived not at the AI era, but a generative AI era. It's a new industrial revolution.
The procurement race became intense. Supply backlogs for the H100 stretched for months. Tech billionaires openly bragged about how many Nvidia GPUs they managed to hoard, treating microchips like the ultimate measure of future capacity. Silicon Valley had secured the processors, but they were about to discover a much deeper, more unyielding constraint. Because once you possess the chips, you face the challenge of powering them. For decades, Silicon Valley operated under a simple premise, that software was virtually weightless. You deployed code to a digital cloud, and it scaled with minimal physical footprint. But generative AI disrupted this model. AI is an asset-heavy industrial technology operating beneath a software layer. It consumes substantial amounts of energy. According to research estimates, a single query processed by a large language model consumes nearly 10 times the electricity of a standard Google search. By 2024, the primary constraint shifted from microchip supply to electrical grid capacity. The industry entered the era of the gigawatt economy. Consider Meta's infrastructure. To train and run its advanced Llama models, the company amassed clusters housing over 100,000 enterprise GPUs. Next-generation data center campuses currently in development are scaling from hundreds of megawatts to 1 or 2 gigawatts of power capacity. For context, 1 gigawatt can sustain the average power demand of a city the size of San Francisco.
Again, in moonshot terms, the amount of energy used to launch a rocket is consumed every day by just one AI-infused data center.
Faced with grid constraints, technology companies sought dedicated energy sources. In September 2024, Microsoft executed a significant power purchase agreement with Constellation Energy to facilitate the restart of Unit 1 at the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant in Pennsylvania. Adjacent to the decommissioned Unit 2, the site of a major partial meltdown in 1979. Under the 20-year contract, Microsoft committed to purchasing the equivalent of the reactor's total 835 megawatt output. While the electricity is physically managed through the regional transmission grid, Microsoft contractually allocates the entire output to support its expanding data center network. This massive carbon-free energy allocation effectively absorbs an output that could otherwise power hundreds of thousands of residential homes, demonstrating how technology infrastructure is competing directly for baseline utility assets. Amazon followed a similar trajectory. Its cloud computing division, AWS, acquired a data center campus directly connected to the Susquehanna nuclear power station for $650 million, securing a contractual right to draw up to 960 megawatts of power. However, this massive energy consumption highlights a complex paradox. While AI clusters demand unprecedented power, the technology itself is being deployed to optimize the very infrastructure it strains. Google and Microsoft are currently utilizing machine learning models to predict grid congestion and design more efficient cooling systems. This is the AI efficiency paradox. The system consumes immense resources, yet it remains one of our most promising tools to optimize global energy distribution. The Industrial Revolution required coal to build a more efficient world. The AI revolution is consuming megawatts in a high-stakes bet to solve the physics of the future. But electricity is only half the equation. Once you secure the power, you still need the physical territory to deploy the machines. For years, the tech industry marketed a clean, weightless illusion that our photos, streams, and artificial intelligence existed in the cloud. The word was carefully chosen to sound ethereal and magical. But clouds don't buy land. The reality is simple. The cloud is industrial real estate, and AI is transforming that real estate into a highly competitive land grab. Look at Loudoun County, Virginia, often called Data Center Alley. Home to one of the world's largest concentrations of data centers, the region has become a critical hub for global internet infrastructure. In prime hubs like Ashburn, the price of an acre of industrial land spiked from roughly $100,000 to over $3 million. To build an AI campus, you cannot just pick any plot of land. You need a rare convergence of immediate high-voltage power, dense fiber optic networks, and strict zoning approvals. When a location hits all three, it becomes some of the most valuable dirt on Earth. Securing the land and power is only part of the equation. The expanding physical footprint of AI requires another critical resource: water. High-density server racks generate intense heat. To prevent hardware from degrading or shutting down, facilities rely heavily on cooling infrastructure. Many standard data centers utilize direct evaporative cooling, a method that uses water mist to lower air temperatures. According to industry data, a typical mid-sized data center can directly consume around 300,000 gallons of fresh water per day for cooling. In arid regions like Phoenix, Arizona, this direct consumption has caused significant tension. Tech hubs are scaling up data center campuses right over strained aquifers, competing directly with local agricultural irrigation and municipal water reserves during historic droughts. The AI boom was supposed to be completely digital. In reality, it is altering the physical ecosystems of our planet.
We do not want something that massive taking up parts of our power grid, polluting our water.
This massive physical footprint introduces complex local trade-offs. While a new data center campus brings billions of dollars in initial construction capital, it generates surprisingly few permanent local jobs. Once the infrastructure is online, a facility sprawling across hundreds of thousands of square feet can often be operated by fewer than 50 engineers. Local municipalities receive substantial property tax revenue, but residents often face the long-term burdens of strained utility capacity. This dynamic has catalyzed a massive shift in institutional capital. Real estate investment trusts and private equity firms, such as Blackstone, are allocating tens of billions of dollars to acquire data center developers like QTS or form massive joint ventures with giants like Digital Realty. They recognize the foundational rule of this technology wave early. Software may capture the headlines, but infrastructure controls the asset value. Silicon Valley marketed a vision of complete automation, a future where software would operate independently, eliminating routine human tasks. Corporate presentations emphasized neural networks that could write, analyze, and create autonomously. But behind the algorithms lies a vast, decentralized workforce that underpins the entire industry. The reality is that artificial intelligence is highly dependent on structured human intervention. To transform raw data into functional intelligence, the industry relies on a global, hidden labor economy known as data annotation. Computers do not inherently understand human context. They require manual instruction to build the foundations of predictive logic. This operational dependency fueled the rise of enterprise platforms like Scale AI. Founded by Alexander Wang, the company became an essential infrastructure partner for major AI developers, achieving a private market valuation of $13.8 billion. By building networks that distribute microtasks to contractors in nations like Kenya and the Philippines, these platforms process massive data sets. Workers are tasked with reviewing model outputs, ranking responses, and filtering out graphic or explicit content through reinforcement learning from human feedback. It is a highly repetitive, labor-intensive digital assembly line. Contractors often review thousands of sensitive data points under strict time limits, establishing the safety parameters for commercial models. While compensation is aligned with regional benchmarks, ranging from $1.5 to $3 per hour, the emotional toll remains a structural reality of the supply chain. This operational model has created a distinct, bifurcated human capital structure within the tech economy. At the base of the pyramid is a vast international workforce performing high-volume, low-margin data curation. But at the absolute apex, the industry faces an entirely different bottleneck: an acute shortage of elite machine learning talent. The number of researchers capable of architecting and training frontier foundation models remains remarkably small. This scarcity has triggered an intense corporate talent war, with technology giants offering multi-million-dollar compensation packages, equity incentives, and massive compute allocations to secure top-tier engineering talent. The human element of artificial intelligence exists on two extreme ends: mass data processing deployed globally, and elite research engineering concentrated in a few tech hubs. The technology has scaled beyond the control of individual software startups. It has matured into a vital national capability, and when a resource becomes this critical, governments inevitably intervene to redraw the borders of control. At first glance, the AI race appears to be a corporate competition fought in the cloud. It is Microsoft versus Google, Meta versus OpenAI. But as the technology matures, the free market illusion fades, because every single bottleneck we have encountered, from semiconductor fabrication to electrical grid capacity, is intensely physical. And whenever a transformative technology becomes entirely dependent on scarce, physical resources, history follows a predictable trajectory. The technology stops being a mere commercial product and transitions into critical national infrastructure. Every industrial revolution follows this exact evolutionary path. Railroads, electrical grids, and telecommunication networks were all once speculative corporate plays. Today, they are the foundational pillars of national sovereignty. Generative AI is undergoing this exact structural shift right now. Advanced computing capacity is no longer viewed merely as a tool for corporate efficiency. It is recognized as a vital asset for national security and economic resilience. This dependency on hardware has turned global supply chains into geopolitical vulnerabilities. The absolute choke point of the modern digital economy is a single company on a single island, TSMC in Taiwan. This extreme concentration of advanced manufacturing capacity has transformed a commercial supply chain into a major geopolitical flashpoint. Governments now realize that digital power requires physical independence. In response, the United States weaponized its regulatory leverage, imposing strict export controls through the Department of Commerce to restrict the flow of Nvidia's advanced enterprise chips, like the H100, to strategic competitors. This is the era of computational sovereignty. Governments are aggressively reshaping the infrastructure landscape through massive industrial policies. The United States is deploying $52 billion via the CHIPS Act to onshore semiconductor fabrication. Europe is counterbalancing with its own €43 billion initiatives, while sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East are shifting trillions from oil assets to build megawatt-scale data centers in the desert. The overarching question for global leaders is no longer which consumer application will win the market. The core sovereign question is, who will control the underlying industrial infrastructure required to compute at all? This reveals the fundamental paradox of the artificial intelligence era. Most of the world is focused on the interface, the chatbot, the image generator, the conversational assistant. We marvel at the efficiency of the software layer, but the real story of artificial intelligence was never software. Software is simply the consumer-facing facade. The historical narrative is the trillion-dollar restructuring of the physical world required to make that software function. It is a story written in steel, concrete, silicon, and baseline power distribution. History shows that global powers are ultimately defined by the physical infrastructure networks they leave behind. The Roman Empire left its network of roads. The Industrial Revolution left its transcontinental railways. The 20th century left its interstate highways and electrical grids. Our generation, in its competitive pursuit of machine intelligence, is building a planetary computing infrastructure of unprecedented scale. Many of today's software startups may disappear, and the near-term investment hype will recalibrate. But the legacy of this era will not be the code we downloaded. It will be the physical world we rebuilt around it.